My friends, welcome to another open class. Today, I guarantee you'll learn something that will make you think, how did I not know this before? So, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because what we're about to discuss isn't just ordinary information. It's something that could prepare you for what's coming. Why are likes and subscriptions so important? Because they signal to the platform that you enjoy this type of content, ensuring you keep receiving valuable insights. Today, we're going to expose a sinister plan unfolding behind the scenes of the US government. Something involving power, money, Bitcoin, and a level of control that many people haven't yet realized. So, while everyone is tuning in, share this live stream because what I'm about to reveal isn't being covered by mainstream media. Let's dive into who is really pulling the strings. Now, who is the key player behind all of this? Howard Lutnick, a name that most of you have likely never heard before. But why is he so important? Lutnick is a billionaire, the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, one of the most powerful financial firms in the US. He wasn't just a major architect behind Trump's economic policies, he also played a key role in the presidential transition team. And what does that mean? It means that before Trump even took office, Lutnick was shaping the government's structure and economic strategy. Now, listen carefully. The US Secretary of Commerce wields enormous power. This role directly influences industries, trade, and even the global economic structure. And guess who holds this position now? Howard Lutnick. So while most people focus on Trump himself, few realize that Lutnick is one of the masterminds shaping US economic policies from the shadows. Now that you know who Lutnick is, let's explore one of the most radical economic moves he has helped introduce: the creation of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Sounds intriguing, right? But what's the real agenda behind it? The US government is pushing a policy that forces both federal and state governments to regularly purchase Bitcoin. This has two immediate consequences: artificially boosting Bitcoin's value. When the US government itself starts buying Bitcoin in large volumes, demand surges, leading to massive price increases. This benefits those who already hold Bitcoin, creating a new type of financial reserve. The US dollar has always been the world's reserve currency, but now there's a deliberate effort to link some of that power to Bitcoin. But here's the key question: is this really about Bitcoin, or is there a much bigger game being played here? That's where the digitization of natural resources comes into play. Now pay close attention. This is where things get serious. The Bitcoin reserve is not an end goal. It's just a step towards something much bigger: the digitalization and tokenization of the US's natural resources and land. What does this mean? It means turning land, minerals, and other natural resources into digital assets that can be traded like stocks. This process allows the government and powerful corporations to take control of physical resources and transform them into digital tokens that can be bought, sold, and manipulated. Here's how it works. They create a narrative that digitalizing natural assets is necessary to improve the economy. They introduce new laws that allow powerful investors and hedge funds to acquire these digitalized assets. Over time, these resources slip out of public ownership and become controlled by corporations and the elite. If this sounds like a modern form of land appropriation, that's because it is. Many of you have heard about the Great Reset, a plan from the World Economic Forum, WEF, to restructure the global economy. What most didn't expect was that this plan would be repackaged and implemented by the US government itself. Originally, the WEF spoke about resetting capitalism, changing the financial system, and increasing government and corporate control over economic activities. The problem? Many countries rejected the idea. So, what did they do? They rebranded it and put new faces at the forefront. The result? A new version of the Great Reset, now disguised as a strategy to strengthen the US dollar and economy. But make no mistake, the ultimate goal remains the same: to digitalize, control, and centralize economic power. This plan isn't being executed by just one person. There are multiple actors involved. Tulsi Gabbard, a rising political figure closely tied to the World Economic Forum, now gaining influence within Trump's administration. Bill Gates has quietly become the largest owner of farmland in the US. Coincidence? Major investment funds. These groups are buying up properties at inflated prices, making it nearly impossible for ordinary citizens to purchase land. The pieces of the puzzle are coming together. Now, let's connect the dots. Why does the government want Bitcoin so badly? Here's the strategy. The government buys Bitcoin, driving up its price. Then, they use that Bitcoin to buy real assets, land, real estate, etc. These purchases are being structured in a way that is tax-exempt, allowing them to seize assets at no cost. And here's the most critical part. To make this work, they need to change one of Bitcoin's fundamental rules. Bitcoin was designed with a fixed supply of 21 million coins, meaning it cannot be inflated like traditional currencies. However, if they manage to remove this limit, Bitcoin will become just another fiat currency, controlled and manipulated like the US dollar. If the United States successfully implements this plan, other countries will follow. For example, in Brazil, we're already seeing similar trends, such as the transition from physical to digital currency, DREX. Moreover, financial experts are predicting a major economic collapse in February. While it's unclear if this will materialize, the fact that powerful figures are preparing for it should be a warning sign. The first thing we need to understand is that what is happening right now is not random. There is a global script being followed, and Donald Trump is simply executing a pre-planned strategy. From January 20th, when he officially returned to power, until today, a series of major events have already unfolded, just as predicted. So, what is his main mission? Restructuring the US government, strengthening its global dominance, implementing a new economic and military order. Many believe Trump is reacting to events as they happen, but in reality, he is following a predetermined roadmap. For this plan to succeed, it needs to be tested in various regions around the world, and that is exactly what we are witnessing right now. El Salvador. This country is being used as a testing ground for population control through mass surveillance, mass incarceration policies, elimination of physical cash, and full transition to digital currency, Bitcoin, stablecoins, etc. Argentina. A different kind of experiment is taking place here. Government employees are being replaced by artificial intelligence. A universal basic income, World Coin, is being introduced using biometric scans. The full digitalization of the financial system is underway. Africa. Historically, this continent has been a testbed for pharmaceutical and medical experiments, and it remains a global laboratory for future projects. All of these regional experiments serve as prototypes for a global rollout of these strategies. Now, let's address one of the most controversial and disturbing topics: global depopulation. The Georgia Guidestones clearly stated that the world's ideal population should be only 500 million people. This implies a planned reduction of over 80% of the global population. If this sounds like a conspiracy theory, just take a look at recent global events. Strict birth control policies, health crises being used as population management tools, strategic wars designed to destabilize and weaken nations. Everything appears to be moving toward this goal, and many of these ideas were subtly introduced in shows like The X-Files, which many now believe were not just fiction, but predictive programming. Pay close attention, because we are on the brink of a massive global economic collapse, and this was already planned. What is happening? Financial analysts in the US are warning of a major stock market crash that could occur as soon as February 2025. There is speculation that Trump will be blamed for this economic collapse, much like Herbert Hoover was blamed for the 1929 Great Depression. And if a financial collapse isn't enough, there are also warnings about an upcoming health crisis. Recently, Bill Gates stated in an interview that if Trump cuts funding to a certain global institution, a new health crisis will emerge. Is this just a coincidence? Or was this a warning disguised as a prediction? Now let's talk about the geopolitical chessboard and the war that is being prepared. the United States is executing a three-phase strategy to consolidate its dominance. 1. Neutralize Moscow. Drag Russia into a prolonged conflict to prevent it from aiding its allies. 2. Destabilize the Middle East. Weaken Iran and other key regional players. 3. Engage China directly. Isolate Beijing by eliminating its strategic partners. And here's the key takeaway. This is already happening. Now listen carefully. Yesterday, Trump made a bold declaration that the U.S. will assume control over the Gaza Strip. But why? What is the real motive behind this move? Natural gas reserves. The Gaza Strip is home to vast natural gas fields, and the U.S. has every intention of seizing them. However, there is one major problem. Iran will not allow this without a fight. And if Iran retaliates, Trump has already issued direct orders to obliterate Tehran if they interfere. This is the first step toward a full-scale war in the Middle East. The strategy is clear. Provoke Iran so the U.S. has a justified reason for launching a massive military operation. Iran may retaliate with cyber attacks, disrupting U.S. infrastructure. This could trigger a financial collapse. The U.S. government would then use this crisis to launch an all-out war. And guess what? While the world burns, the U.S. military-industrial complex will be making billions selling weapons. Now, let's discuss one of the most brilliant financial moves ever orchestrated. The U.S. government is engineering a financial crisis that will force China and Japan to sell off their holdings of U.S. Treasury bonds at dirt-cheap prices. Once this happens, the U.S. will reacquire its debt at a massive discount, regaining financial control over its own economy. This is nothing short of a financial coup against its biggest economic rivals. So, my friends, what did we learn today? A powerful network is working to digitalize and control natural resources. Bitcoin is being manipulated as part of a larger strategy. The Great Reset never disappeared. It was just rebranded. The economic landscape is shifting rapidly, and only those who are informed will be prepared. Now, the real question is, are you ready for what's coming? If you want to continue learning about these movements, like this video, subscribe, and share it, because knowledge is the most powerful tool you can have. See you in the next class.